All righty, cyberspace cadets, it's IRATE Prostate here, and we have got an autism festival. And oh wow, I'm here with Phobos Media.
Greetings.
All right, and Veneficus Ignus.
Hello. How's it going, everyone, on this wonderful, wonderful night?
Yeah. So we were just talking about the whole situation about how, if you didn't know it right now, Joy Sparkles has been streaming probably for about 3 hours now. And she's got some legitimate beef going on with Base Mama because Base Mama raised hell when she had, had raised some money for Daddy of Five's ex-wife, the birth mother of the children in question that were being abused or whatever what was going on, and it was roughly I believe it was $1,800 roughly something dollars, but she ended up giving Andy Worski and I believe a couple other people access to her bank account so they could see exactly where the money went and as some type of proof that she didn't abscond with any of the cash. And I just had told Veneficus Ignus, aka the Living Flame. I'm just going to call him Flame from now on. Yeah, I just told Flame that what Base Mama had raised for Kilroy, along with Sister Danger and Dave Cullen, it was $85,000. In comparison. And I, if I was Base Mama, and I mean, if I was, Joy Sparkles, and I knew that, the way Base Mama raised hell over, almost $2,000, and this accountability problem with all this money for Kilroy, I'd be raising hell too, man.
I walked out of my room shouting. I'm so glad we weren't live whenever I did that.
That's fine, man. If you can do that live, man, we can get, hell, man, it's all about the subs. We got to make the subs happy. Are you happy at subs? We want you happy.
Be happy.
Adrian Blum, or Adrian Blum,
yeah,
wants to know, what did you think of Jeff's video?
Okay, I'm going to be honest, and I haven't finished it. Okay, I've gotten up to between 2/3 and 3/4. I'm somewhere around that area with the video, and what the video, what I heard, I haven't heard anything new. Okay, the only thing new that I heard was he confirmed that there was a second server, and it was totally dedicated to Coach Red Pill, a second complete server completely dedicated to Coach Red Pill. And obviously Kraut had a monster hard on for that dude, which was, stand in line, fucker. The guy is, I don't know, he was a big enough knob, I always thought he was going to hang himself anyway. And it looks like that's going to come to pass.
Let's hope not. If anything, I wouldn't want that.
He's far too confident and arrogant, and he doesn't really have enough to back it up. It's like I was saying earlier, played all of his cards. He literally said everything that he thinks is going on and who it involves. And there's really not that much proof at all for half of those people, and no proof for Sargon and the rest of them. And it's just like he looks like a fool now.
Right.
Exposed his whole tinfoil hat theory.
Well, and the whole deal with that is that it looks like to me like Sargon was telling Kraut, it's like, well, if you're doing some fucked up stuff with this thing, you need to stop it, man. That's dumb, it's just it's just like Metokur said, when the video opened, it was just like I was sitting there and I just went, okay, so they're going to start with the Rage After Storm thing, and in the way he just put it all together, I don't know if it was deliberately, but there were some discrepancies. Did y'all notice that? The video?
I didn't really notice so many discrepancies as I noticed that this is exactly what I figured was going to happen. How angry was everybody at Rage of Storm back then? And now they're going to spin it where everybody was on her side and knew that it was satire and all this shit. No, not everybody knew. Freaking people were and burning their houses down over fucking Rage After Storm, and it seemed like everybody was on her side, and they weren't. And that's why, like, it's a retrospective. It's like retconning. You're kind of retconning to make yourself look a little better because a lot of people got really angry at her, claim that they weren't, so that they can be angry at Kraut, which he deserves it too. But like,
yeah, but I didn't get that. I got what I saw, which was, I was one of the few people that said, man, there's a missed opportunity here that, you know, at most, if she's serious about this, that, you know, we could, you know, she could have been taken aside and mentored, you know, and said, you know, it's like, what's going on here? And you know, and then if she was, you know, sticking to her guns, then, you know, you just beat an opponent on the intellectual realm. You don't have this like impromptu lynch mob, you know, stream where, you know, everybody's like, okay, there's 6 people right here that need, you know, I want you to answer to, you know, it's just like,
and let's be really fucking honest. That stream was, it wasn't just a lynch mob. It was a mess. It was, nobody let her talk. Nobody let anybody else talk. It was just
well, they invited her, but she didn't show up.
Stroking contest. Yeah, I know, and it just turned out to be them just yelling and just like, it's like they smelled blood and they were like, okay, let's go after this. And some of the shit that she said, absolutely, if she was really saying it, came out of nowhere and it's just, I would have been like, wow, I can't really support that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
you're saying crazy stuff, but the fact that they all ganged up and shit like that, they just wanted so badly to cover their asses for something.
Yeah, and the way I kind of want to pull that up, I'll do that later, but I want to make sure that because I've got that somewhere, that whole video, but I had forgotten. See, that what the important connection that Medicare wanted to make, I think, was that, you know, there's 3 consistent elements that keep popping up, right? And it was, you know, it's Kraut, Jeff Holiday, and Base Mama, right? And I think that's where he's going to go with all of this stuff, you know.
Oh, definitely. And
all right, the deal is, all right, Jeff is sticking with the narrative that he really didn't have much activity on any of those servers until the last 3 days, the days that they just happened to have been recorded by, you know, by the whatever spy or whatever the fuck they're calling it, you know, that was in there, you know, recording the stuff.
The spy. We will
the
find
spy.
him. We will find their spy. And we will turn him inside out to find where he is, where he lives. We will find his place of employment, and we will.
We do not remember you from roll call. Where are your papers? Where are your papers?
We will dox him for their server.
Your server number, please.
And for the left. I'm sorry. I need to stop doing my Kraut impression so much.
You know, he's a little more. You know, anyway. Yeah, me too. Just sitting there running around. And...
He's slightly more relaxed and confident.
Hey guys, sorry about that. If I was quiet for a little bit,
pardon me. Speak, sir.
No, but God, that's embarrassing. I keep my my bad cat food on the floor so I can feed him easily. My kitten Diva got into that, so I had to beat the shit out of her. So I apologize.
So you beat a cat?
Well, not beat her, just like did the whole, you know, child spank kind of thing on the cat.
Yeah.
Now we got to dox blame.
Oh yeah. I hit pussy, guys.
We got Skeptox saying veering dangerously into silly here, which is absolutely true.
Indeed, indeed. That's the way I wanted to open this thing. Was like, you know, it's just the way it was. The first thing that I wrote in the group. I said, Are y'all ready for a journey into the what the fuck?"
And yeah, that's.
I mean, you know, because that's kind of how this shit is. Just, I mean, it's just every day is like Christmas in a sick, pathetic way. You know, it's like Sir Adamantine had said. You know, it's like Christmas every since that all this shit started happening, and you know, it's a sick. One thing Jeff does point out, and this community, or whatever you want to call it, it's really a group of highly egotistical people that want that sit in front of microphones and cameras to get people's attention. Okay, and I'm totally guilty of that. I've always been like that. I've always been, you know, it's like run around naked to get attention. You know, that's me. You know, from the age 3 until now. What can I say? I don't have any noble, you know, cause when it comes to the stuff, but I do care about people, and I love people. That's why I do this. And something that he pointed out about this, community is that he didn't use this term, but this is a term that I would use: incestuous. We're like a bunch of hillbillies fucking up in, you know, in the middle of the Appalachians. All we do, you know, is when we're not doing. If the people that really know each other, you know, there's a lot of gossip, man. There's a lot of gossip, and there's backstabbing and all kinds of shit going on. You know, it's just and that's what, you know, Tonka was, you know, trying to, you know, point out, I think, is that this whole nature, man, is that we don't know each other, you know, and we can say that we're allied and that we're acquainted, but when it comes to being true friends, none of us can really say that we're all there yet. I don't think.
Yeah, it kind of relates back to what was it, the Phobos and Friends stream that we did with Setsu 2 Cents, whenever you were getting into the whole, like, you know, what was it? Psychology thing, where there are things that we're never going to show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Johari Window.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It kind of dates back to that, basically.
Right. And the Johari Window is like, if you take a square and you put it into 4 sections, there's the side of ourselves that we show the world, and there's a side of ourselves that we show that we think we're showing the world, but we're showing ourselves. And then there's the side of us that we don't show to anybody, and then there's the side of us that we can't see, that the world sees, right? That we're presenting forward. You know, so it's like 4 cubes stuck together in the way it's illustrated, and it looks like a window. And that's where it was created by these 2 dudes named Joe and Harry, and that's why it's called the Johari Window. But yeah, the whole thing, the whole part of us that we're not able to see of ourselves, and I think that whole part right there is where that ego, man, is so insidious and just, you know, creeps in there. And you know, I've seen people what I'm looking for, in less visible, you know, positions, you go completely batshit insane with their egotism, man. You know, you give, you know, everybody here, or we got 13 people watching now, and then, you know, us 3. I guarantee you, everybody that's part of this deal right now, if you really think about it, there's somebody that you know that you've either worked with or might have gone to class with or something, but as soon as they were given like a level or some semblance of power over people, that changes their personality immediately.
It's true.
Yeah, you kind of see that with Jeff and Blair. Yeah.
Although the problem in inherently in that, though, I think, is that the people who don't let it change their personality just overwhelmed. And because when you have a position of power or authority of any kind, like if you're a moderator or if you're like someone's boss, like the world almost encourages you to exploit that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the people who don't get, I don't know, fucked with by the people who do.
Right. Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying, you know, and that's why it's really so weird, you know, because and Sir Adamantine kind of was trying to communicate this to I think it was I want to say Irate Bear a couple weeks ago, that when you have a certain number of subs, you know, you're a little more free to say things and to comment about the community, as it were, than, you know, like low number subs, like, you know, like me or you know, like all of us, you know, all three of us, you know, we're sitting here, we're all under 500 subs. And you know, and literally, you know, we're saying stuff that people can come after us at, you know, and want to, you know, stomp us, can do it if they want to, you know.
Yeah.
But the truth is I think that the truth always wins out in this kind of situation. And I'm not intimidated by that shit like I used to be. Because of Tonka Saw, man, has fucking opened my eyes to just the way to look at this deal. Because it's, you know, if you're looking at this like some kind of way to get famous, to get rich, or whatever, you're fucking stupid. You know, you're a fucking stupid idiot. If you're doing this for any other reason, then, you know, you got a huge ass ego and you know it. You know, I don't know, man. You know,
I do it for the truth and for it's almost therapeutic for me, really.
Yeah, you know, and see, I see that in everybody, man. Everybody's, you know, it's like, I love people, man. You're like, you want to ask questions, man. You know,
Yeah.
Phobos and Flame. What I'm seeing in you is like a type of like, I don't want to say righteous indignation, but almost like a you know, like you demand a lot out of yourself, and you're trying to reflect that back to humanity. And I think that's you know, where I think it's a noble cause, you know.
I mean, I say I do it for the laws, but altogether, I am really concerned for not the people directly that are basically, you know, being involved in this whole thing, like Jeff Kraut and everything like that, but I'm more or less concerned about, like, there's this thing. I watch a YouTuber named I Hate Everything, and he's a really big YouTuber, 1.5 million subs, and that wasn't even important. Why the hell I even say that? He made a video basically talking about his anxiety disorder and everything like that. And one thing that pisses me off about people that want to dox other people is that the one thing that he mentioned was the reason he never shares his face, his name, or anything like that. Well, he's done it recently, but the reason he never does that is because there are actual people that do genuinely and like beyond reason hate certain individuals. Some people could hate Aiden Paladin to the point where they actually want to know who she is so they can hunt down and actually hurt them.
Yep.
Or, you know, break into their house and rob them, do something to mortify them.
I mean,
that's why doxing.
More realistically, though, Aiden Paladin would probably definitely get fired from her job.
Yeah. And that's the whole entire thing about this whole doxing shit. Everybody's making it out to be like, oh, doxing's not a big deal. Just let it go. It's like, no, there are people.
I'm surprised at how many people are trying to pull that angle, but I don't see most people going that route. I do see a bunch of people who are like, oh, you know, Coach Red Pill doxed himself. And it's like, okay, that's cool. You still had a server dedicated to finding out his information, and you were going to use that against him if you needed to do so. And that is behavior, and that is doxing, regardless of whether or not he's accidentally or intentionally shown people or anything like that. It's the intent, you know?
Yeah, and that's
absolutely that intent. So, like, I can say that Coach Red Pill sounds like a crazy fool because he does, but it's no from the fact that they had a whole fucking server or a separate channel and directly attained to him.
And that fucking blows my mind, man. That they would go to that length just for one person. It wasn't a channel, dude. It was a fucking server. They had a complete server just dedicated to that one deal. It's I don't understand why in the fuck. It's obvious to me, if you want to get analytical about what's going on with Red Pill, man, is the dude is kind of one of those self-destructive types anyway. And he's had to remake himself several times. I'm not, I've been privy to some information through some other means, and I just know that that's a cyclic thing. And he may be, and what I also see is, because I went through it, is a midlife crisis. He's a little late in life because you got a 2-year-old kid. He's 50 years old. Think about that.
Yeah, and the thing about the I hate everything thing that was actually mentioned, something they didn't put into the thing I was talking about, is that the reason he found out about this, he actually shut himself off from like his podcast and everything like that whenever he was still like I think it was 300,000 subs when he made this video. There were like subreddits and things on 4chan dedicated to people like trying to actually hack into his information to find out who he is, because they actually did want to come after him. I thought he might be exaggerating it, but it's like it does happen, and you see the kind of thing that happens with the commentary communities and drama communities, how people will go fucking nuts and actually want to hurt somebody. And that's the whole reason why this whole entire thing has blown out of proportion, because people are too afraid to say that people can get hurt if they are doxxed. Right. People might say that's exaggeration, but it's not. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say is right, because a lot of people they conflate this medium with television or film.
Yeah,
and I mean, and this is not what that is. This is, if anything, this is like radio. It's like a fusion of ham radio and maybe radio the way it was in the 30s and 40s, maybe the early 50s, right? That's what I see out of it. There's a personal communication aspect of it, and then there's also with the reality. If you look at television programming today and you look at radio programming of the 50s, it reflected the television programming that was going on at the time, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of analytically the way I see it. It's like a fusion between ham radio and just entertainment-based radio, soap operas, sports, commentary, comedy, although radio all the way up to what we've got nowadays. Like Monday Matt, I would say he's more equivalent of a FM DJ, maybe even something along the lines of a kind of like a left version of Rush Limbaugh. Pagman, of course, is definitely kind of in that boat. I would say. But the confusing. I'm not a fucking celebrity. We're not fucking celebrities, man. We're just people.
Yeah.
And I think, and even and celebrities are people. But they're extremely fucking filthy rich fucking people.
They're like officially public figure type of people.
Exactly. And I go ahead.
The thing about the whole YouTube celebrity thing to me is that the YouTube commentary community is almost exactly like the radio commentary community, because in news commentary and sports commentary, professional, and if anybody did any remote facet of what they do on YouTube, they would get fired. So then you have radio, which obviously there's a lot of radio people who go very seriously as well, but there's a lot of radio people who don't, and they make it work too. YouTube has a lot of people who are trying to be the next that and the next radio star and the next YouTube star, but it has a lot of people who are not professional at all and still do well for themselves.
Yep. Yeah, I'm thinking because when we look at this whole deal with Medicare and the way he's breaking this thing down, there's of course there's this, he's going to present, his style is really he puts it's a farce, man. He takes it and puts a satirical, farcical spin on this shit, because that's exactly what he's doing. Is that he's taking and he's saying, these are not fucking celebrities. These are just normal people who fucking think they may be, or whatever, extremely confused or extremely, whatever, or stoned on our egos.
Yeah, and because as we know, there is one YouTube celebrity. There's one person who has enough people watching his fucking videos that he can be considered to be a celebrity, because the population of the world knows his name, and that's PewDiePie.
PewDiePie.
There you go. I knew it. I knew he was going to say it, so I was going to say, do it. Yeah, it reminds me every time somebody mentions it, it reminds me of my bud Occam, because we're all in this thing together.
Well, there's also like was it Markiplier? I think. Yeah, I watch him because I'm a gamer. I gotta watch big gamers, but those are really the only two big people. I haven't really seen anything bigger than that.
You're gonna watch Markiplier and not PewDiePie? Because here's the thing. Now this shifts your taste in movies into extreme perspective.
What? How dare you, sir?
Go on.
Keep on. Yeah. I like this.
Well, no, it's just with PewDiePie, like, it feels like he's the kind of person that you just kind of sub to, like, even if you're not gonna watch his content, like, he's just so big, you're gonna be subbed regardless. Like, everyone at this point is probably subbed to PewDiePie and just never watched his videos, but there are a good dedicated fan base of at least like 1 to 3 million people, and Markiplier the same kind of thing. But I don't know. Phobos, what did you mean my taste in movies was somehow like
okay? Now look,
explained.
To be very fair, I've never seen Pulse.
Oh, for God's sakes!
Is because Sir Admantine told me that it was literally the worst movie he's ever seen in his life. And you have placed Pulse on a big golden pedestal or Ragnarok into the trash bin, and I find that to be pretty much in line with you and not PewDiePie.
Well, no, with Markiplier, I've only recently watched any of his things due to the what is it? I Am Bread series that is just freaking hilarious. Anyone that's watching, even if you're not even a gamer, it's such a funny series. And I couldn't really play a game called, what was it, Outlast, because it wasn't that much scary, so that it was kind of like that kind of challenge that I just couldn't get around. So I was like, I'll just watch the first 2 games from Markiplier's playthroughs. And thing is, Pulse had a wonderful concept that I understand what everybody's going through. I like it. I'm not going to sit here and say it's, a spectacular 10 out of 10 in nuance. Just the concept alone is what's actually very good in it. But
okay. Random side note. Did anybody see Sargon's video about The Last Jedi?
I have not.
I think it was on his regular channel and not the thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I caught about, I don't know, half or 3/4 into it. And I said, well, fuck, he's not going to be talking about any of this shit. So I said, I just, you know what I'm saying? Because I was really wanting to prepare for, tonight's deal. And so my brain was in that, gathering mode. And so I turned it on, I listened. And it sounds like to me, like he thought it was, apparently he had done one and people got the wrong impression off of it or something. And so he was coming back saying that he thought it was, it was interesting. He thought it was good.
It's because I could see it being a highly entertaining movie. J.J. Abrams tweets shit like we have a highly diverse cast and we're committed to diversity, and then like the writer of the movie that like tweets things like so you guys know the Empire is a distinctly white supremacist organization, obviously.
It's like, I don't like
That
that.
has nothing to do with Star Wars, and like, so obviously people are going to cast political movie, but realistically, I don't think it never once was the color of any of the characters' skin mentioned, or any real comparison to any real world politics. It was just kind of like that.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And the thing is with what was it? The Force Awakens, I'm probably gonna get flack for this. People could tell me I'm wrong all I want, but all you guys want, but I don't care. The Force Awakens was just a nuanced New Hope. It was,
Yeah.
it's just whenever I sat down and watched like the first 30 minutes with my dad, it was like, no, it's bad. It's just a bad movie. The writing was just all over the place. Like, God bless Harrison Ford for being in the movie. And, rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. And I can't say that because spoilers. But with the second movie, I've seen like 3 reviews of people who weren't even afraid to spoil it. And it's like, thank God, because I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch the rest of the series because at this point, what I'm hearing from reviews, it's just a downward spiral of garbage on top of more garbage. And, people probably have a different opinion on it, but it's just like,
Well,
I can't do it.
Put it one way, I mean, Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, who I'm a huge fan of, I think he's a really funny dude, and he's like my favorite voice actor for the Joker ever.
Yeah.
Himself, he's like, I'm gonna put it to you this way. I disagree with every choice that you've made about this character. That being said, it is now my job to try to bring your vision into the best light it can be brought.
Yeah.
And that's a very noble thing to say.
It really
given all the all the energy, guts. I think about all the blood, sweat, and tears that dude has poured into the whole franchise. How much of his soul has been dedicated to these, this one character. And so I was going to say, where people were, comparing it to blah, 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 to this and that. See, when I saw it the first time, and I saw it in the theater. Okay. I saw it in the theater, and I saw that movie 6 times in the theater. I loved it so much. Actually, I saw a fucking advanced, one of the tickets off the radio station. Okay. And I saw an advanced screening of this movie, and all by myself. And I'm sitting there next to, I guess, a dude, he was writing down stuff on a pad and smoking. He smoked a joint in the theater. And I was like, oh my God,
man,
we're going to jail. Holy shit. I was like that when I was about, I'm not going to tell you how old I was, but I was young. I was a kid. And I had nobody to share the experience with, it was just so incredible. But I instantly equated, Darth Vader. A lot of people said, instantly they saw samurais and shit. And I said, no, I didn't. I saw Nazis, that's kind of where, okay. That's what I saw the Empire as, they were the bad guys, man. I saw Where Eagles Dare and shit, what I'm saying? So in my head was, it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't a social justicey thing. It was just like, hey,
they're the bad guys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's literally exactly. And what I really do love about the lore in the Star Wars universe is that it's like these are Force users, and really they're just conduits for the Force, and it is their corruption that unleashes either the light or the dark side of the Force. It's like if you continue to make corrupt decisions out of anger and grief and stuff like that, it'll manifest the dark side in you. And it's like people are like, oh, I think that the most complaint that I could have about the dark side in the most recent movie is just that, like, incompetent power structure for an empire that had taken over like 90% of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were all yelling at each other in front of their subordinates and their subordinates and stuff, and that's just not a way to.
No,
they were comically bad, and that's, I feel like over characterizing the evil in characters can lead to them kind of being hokey.
Right, being caricatures. Right, exactly. Because I remember, with the first time I saw Kylo Ren just kind of lose it and, and trash that whatever that Ren it was. And I went, holy shit.
It was so funny.
It cracked me up, but I said to myself, now hold on. Is he supposed to be fucking Darth Vader? The equivalent of Darth Vader in this movie? Because he ain't.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely did not come off being that evil to me, until he did what he did, and everybody knows what he did, but I'm not going to say it because I don't spoil shit. All right.
Yeah.
But so it is okay. That was fucking evil. Okay. I get it. But still that little tantrum, man, that was a lose.
He was a character who, like, in the last couple of Star Wars movies, it's almost like if they really wanted to, they could have written a scene where by the right person and changes sides.
Mm-hmm.
And that clearly didn't happen. I feel like that made him like a weaker bad guy. I mean, and a lot of the Mary Sue arguments that come about Rey are kind of bullshit, but there were some Mary Sue arguments to be made about Rey as a character.
Mm.
Well,
certain shit, like
but
kind of needed to be able to, so she could be a strong woman character.
Right.
Yeah.
But what were you going to say? Yeah.
I was going to mention is that whenever Phobos mentioned that Kylo Ren was a weaker character, it's more or less because the last three movies of the Star Wars, like the original saga, episodes 4, 5, and 6, around what was like the 6th episode, it showed that Darth Vader, he was, well, it's like shows like the difference between the light and the dark and how people can go, between each one, basically.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that moral itself actually made the entire like drama of the characters both serious and important, whereas anything in these two movies, it just doesn't work.
2017, motherfucker. And we don't have room for that kind of compassion for people who are bad.
No.
You could never see. That's the thing about it. It's like if that movie were made in 2017, Darth Vader would have just been an evil fucking white supremacist Nazi to the end.
Right.
Because this is a very time that we live in, and thusly it was a very divisive movie.
I hate that.
What's interesting is the way that you characterized the whole concept of the Force. It sounded, my brain automatically went to, almost sounds like East and West concepts of spirituality and religion kind of fused together.
True.
Which is really kind of a cool thing, because after my long spiritual, journey, my current spiritual conceptualization in the way that I look at life and, and all this stuff, is a lot like that, and I think that that's a really, a wise, if you look at those three movies, man, 4, 5, and 6, there's never going to be another fucking, Empire Strikes Back. That's just the perfect, that's the perfect fucking Star Wars, Western, whatever you want to call it, genre movie, man. Kung Fu, whatever, because of the way the whole story was written, the way it was all balanced.
Then the time period, that's what I was saying this to my friends earlier. It was the perfect storm. It came when there was it was the best effects of its time. It was when movies weren't as big as they are now. Huge cult fan base, and it helped to develop the movie industry, is how big it was. So speaking of Star Wars from now, it's all downhill. There's no way they're going to be able to recreate that, because there's so much saturation of the market.
Right, because Industrial Light and Magic came from that, and that was a whole new, that really led up to computer graphics and stuff. They were on the cutting edge, and they had to be to make these movies look like they did. And it was just, it started out, what was it, two guys, and it's turned into, I don't know, it's, what was the guy's name? Trumbull?
Oh,
I'm having a hard time remembering all this stuff, man. But I didn't know we would go there. But I did want to kind of want to talk a couple of things on the Medicare video because I took some
no,
notes.
Yeah.
We can talk about that.
So yeah, let's come back for a second because I do want to go over the
Let's circle back.
the whole rage thing because here was my take because I had seen her when she was on Borski. And I said, okay, this kid's interesting and stuff. And so I watched a bunch of her videos and, I added her, I subbed her and shit. And, there were a couple of times where I went, because, there was some stuff that came out. It sounded a little anti-Semitic to me. Okay.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure, but see, there's a whole trolley quality to her shit. Right.
Yeah.
The last 3 videos that she did, okay, the last 2 videos that she did before this race realism one, okay, the first one was, I am an atheist and there is no God, okay, right? And then the week after that, she said, but I'm religious. All right, you see that? All right, and then this next one, she does this racist shit. And the whole thing opens up with her like asking her mom in German if she had washed her German uniform, her Wehrmacht uniform, right? And she said, "Oh shit! She said, okay, I'll do it this one time, And then she said, "Holy shit! Is your camera running?" And she goes, "Oh shit!" And then she cuts it off, and then she starts the video.
Yeah,
right.
I'm fairly certain it's like 90% theatrical at this point.
Right, exactly. So, and that's the way that I kind of saw the whole thing. But all right, so Medicare, and this is something I didn't know, man, this whole deal, he said that this was about, that the whole, from that moment on, it was like 4 months of an autism festival. He said it was, it took place on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and 4chan. He said it was a tale of vengeance and of hubris. And let's see. And then I have written, okay, hold on, shit. Yeah. I know, dude. It's like, okay, yeah, I am fucking retarded.
No. I was just saying, like, you took notes, huh? That's actually pretty smart.
He said, okay, then he said, all right, on June 24th, which is like right after they had gotten back. She dropped the video 3 days before they got back, or 2 days before they got back from VidCon, right? And this was like the 4th day after VidCon, 4th or 5th day. And I remember when Derek was flipping out on it on Twitter, and then boom, Warski was running, right? And they did that whole deal. I've already talked about it. And then on June 29th, all right, which is really 5 days later, because I remember there was like this back and forth, and she was like not going to do it, and then she was on Tree of Logic, and then she was on doing something else, and then she took down the video, but people were putting mirrors up of it in support of her, and then on the 29th, Kraut, wrote that deal to Kipper, which was that little blog that she was what was she an editor for?
I don't remember. I just remember them saying she was associated with them somehow.
Right, and I think the UKIP, I think that's a small political movement, and I don't know. I think it had a little bit to do with the whole Brexit thing, and I think that's how it got started. But so she was, she was a part of this deal. Kraut says, y'all might want to look at this video, and then all of a sudden, Soledad fucking OBrien. All right. Soledad OBrien goes to, just sends a tweet out of nowhere to UKIP or Kipper Central or whatever they're called and says, hey, what are you going to do about this shit? Right. And then boom, she was gone. I got a feeling that that's what made them boot her. Was the pressure from that. And the magic question is how in the fuck did Soledad OBrien fall out about all that shit?
Well, now from what we know about Kraut, it doesn't seem like too much of a stretch anymore that he on himself to make that connection, to send something
That's
to
such
somebody.
a douchey thing. I am sorry.
It
It is
is.
extremely douchey considering fucking people were threatening to do it to him. How do you do that to people when not 6 months ago people were threatening to do it to fucking you?
I don't get it either. And like, I'll bring up the Star Wars thing real quick. Like,
He snapped.
it's like the Force almost. It's kind of like an ego in a way. Like, whenever you actually he is on the dark side.
He's giving too much into his ego and into the anger and frustration that I'm sure he feels, because at one point he made good content become a monster.
Exactly.
He doesn't even see it. He doesn't even see it himself. He doesn't realize. He might still think
You
he's
actually knew where I was going with that. Thank God, Phobos. It's just Jesus. How does someone fall that far from grace?
I don't know. Considering he's got friends in high places and he's got a lot of subs, all he had to do is not be a cunt.
Exactly.
All you had to do is not be a cunt.
It's kind of like a self-destructive impulse almost.
Yeah, and that's something, right, that Coach Red Pill and fucking Kraut are two sides of the same coin. And this, I was saying this in a tweet the other day, that their egos and their hubris are almost fucking identical to each other.
Agreed. 100%.
And you know, there's something that I learned about myself is that the one thing that usually bugs me the most about a person that I'm close to or that I'm in close proximity to for a long period of time is usually something that I'm not looking at about myself, right?
Yeah.
You know, irritating, whatever the fuck's irritating the shit out of me, it's something that I'm guilty of myself.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling. Well, not a feeling. I'm just. I guess that's just a great illustration of that. You know, these two dudes being completely blind of each other and hating each other's guts, and I guess you know we could say
kind of deal,
right? And they're exactly they're the same type of person, and you know, but Red, you know, I can see Red Pill's motive was to get subs because what's his name told you, you got 300 subs, you celebrate it, you pick a fight with somebody with more subs, right?
Oh yeah, well Ed was joking, but that's the joking part was that he was kind of not joking, like because there's a lot of people who really do that, and a lot of people think you need to do that. I just for spoiler alert, guys, I don't really think I'm going to do that.
No. You
I don't see you doing that either.
The other two options is become a feminist, die, or stream. which one do you want to do, Phobos?
You guys like I forgot attack a larger YouTuber, and I forgot get naked. So
yeah, or
the X-rated calendar.
Well, that's a separate thing entirely.
Right, exactly. That's for your Patreon. But I was going to say is that when you do, like when you get like 10,000 subs or or 50,000 subs or whatever, that's when you make a move like that.
Yeah.
Where you totally do a flip and you alienate your audience completely. Right? You become exactly what they hate. That's an old, actually that's something I was told in the 80s by this guy. He says, if you really want to get your band to get really big, is that as soon as you're famous in your hometown, you've got to do exactly what's going to piss them off and alienate your core audience, and then move out of town. And I said, okay, whatever. And I see people doing that, man. It's just it's so crazy.
I do see people doing that sometimes. My only issue is when I see people doing it nowadays, it seems to be to cover their asses for something. Like, oh no, I didn't hang out with this person and like this person because you guys might check out the history of whether or not I was doxing people or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And and for all disclosure's sake, I had gone through the interwebs archive and was looking stuff up on Coach Red Pill for a completely different reason. I was trying to verify certain knowledge because I had an argument I wanted to hit him with because I really and it's a solid argument and it would still work today. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I did want that on record. But I did nothing with that information, and I was never ever going to do anything like that with it. I just wanted to verify one thing, and I couldn't do it. So, man, that information.
That's one of those deals where, like, even if a person was attempting to dox me, feel that it was justified to dox them. That's just not how the fucking world works. That's not how trying to be a good person works. I mean, if you're a good person, you should try to overcome circumstances without stooping to the level of your enemies.
Yeah, and that's that's really hard to do, though.
It really is.
Especially when it comes to this type of this medium, man, because it's like we were talking earlier. There's it's so incestuous, and people are so duplicitous.
Yeah. And that's why, like, when I'm, especially when I'm streaming, I just try to be as much like myself as I can and express my opinions as well as I can. So realistically speaking, like, Phobos the Martian, me. And I'm not a big fan of lies. I like honesty. Truth is extremely important to me. That's why no matter who you are, I respect you if you are honest in however you carry out your life. If you're an asshole, but you're an honest asshole, then I can probably like you a lot. Is asshole or a duplicitous nice person, which usually those are the same people, two sides of the same coin. Person, I don't want to have anything to do with you because I don't want to have to think on a level where it's like, that's what they said, but what do they really mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can, obviously I'm not saying like, oh, I don't like it when people talk to me in anything other than extremely direct terms. I'm just saying, like, I don't like it when people fucking try to present something that's not the truth.
Yeah, that's kind of something I want to bring up too. Like, anyone watch my videos, like, I'm very, I mean, I don't really stutter, I don't really pause that much because, again, folks, that's the thing. I actually make scripts for my videos, and the scripts completely describes a different person than who's on this stream right now. Like, I actually have the person that you talk to in our DMs. You have the person on the stream. You have the person in my videos, and it's like I'm on, but altogether, it's kind of like parts of my actual like personnel, actually, or personality.
I mean, I'm definitely, as when you bring that up, that makes me think I'm not as well spoken as Phobos is because I do write scripts for some of my videos, and it's like,
so you were
things and stuff, and make it sound like there's no unless it's like a comedic effect. There's no pausing. Like, I know exactly what I'm trying to say, and I say it. So there's that. That's different than me because sometimes it takes me a lot longer to say stuff. But
yeah,
the way that I would have worded it is the way that I would have phrased it. It's probably the same for you. When you write a script, it's not like you're writing the script in a character.
Well,
unless you are, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, like I mean, you've never watched my video, so you wouldn't know. But no, it's just yeah, I do write it in a completely different character. Like even this person that you're speaking to, like it's sort of my actual person, but at the same time, like I can't say anything about who I actually really am. Out of fear, even though I'm like 24 subs and 68 followers. Oh, what
I was about to say,
do?
Can I take a second to try to chill a little bit for the living flame here? Can we get
absolutely
subs?
Wait, what?
Can we get some people to go and sub to the living flame, please?
I have good content, I promise.
He has good content, and he has. It's not enough.
If I get to at least 50 subs by the end of this by the end of this year, I might not want to kill myself. Save the flame. Get that trending.
Okay. Hashtag. When you put it that way, it makes me want to retract. retract my my endorsement because you sound like a little bitch. Stand.
Yeah, but
just kidding.
No, dude, you are, man. I mean, that's criminally undersubbed. You know, and I don't say that about a lot of people, man. So, but in your case, it's the fucking truth. And so everybody, as a matter of fact, I'll probably get shitface Alex Jones to do a shout out to you too.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll get you to 50 by the end of the year. I think that's possible. You know,
evil hand rubbing. It's time.
Dude, man, I remember when I was in your fucking. It was like late April, because I had another channel, right, and with a different name, and I was like I think I was up to 35 subs, and it was just going nowhere. And then I started I rolled out this name on Twitter, the irate prostate, and I just started saying shit that I was really thinking, you know. I mean, I just started speaking my mind and, and being a fucking asshole, trolly, and people started following me and shit. And I'm going, well, fuck a duck, man. What's the deal? So, and I said, well, you'll see what happens. So, I completely abandoned that other channel because it was funny because I was following this really good TV show. It was called The Outsiders. Did you check? Did either one of y'all check that show? It was on USA Network.
No, was that?
It was about these rednecks that lived out and they didn't have any electricity or anything, and they lived like almost like they were like in medieval times or some shit. And it was a really good show, man. It was really crazy. And the way it was written, and there was this magic about the mountain. That's something they never really got into the deep part, was the spirituality. There was some kind of magic going on there, some kind of witchcraft or some magic. I don't know, but it was a parallel to the Arthurian myth, right? There was an equivalent to King Arthur and his father. Et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, it got canceled, to make a long story short. And I worked really hard on those fucking videos, and the Save the Show video has got like over 1,000 views on it, right?
Nice.
Yeah, but it's on a different channel. So I opened this thing up. I said, fuck that shit. Fuck TV, whatever, man. I'm not gonna be able to blah, blah, blah. So Irate Prostate was born, and I just kept with it, and I just, kept plugging it. And I remember I was at, 20 subs for a month and a half, 2 months. I'm like, nobody wants to hear my shit. And then it just picked up here, it picks up there, and you'll go through spurts, man. And that's kind of the way it goes.
Is that really where the Irate Prostate came from? Or
yeah,
I must have just zoned out paying attention to the chat. I'm not gonna say what, but it's like the Irate Prostate, was it made for the kind of like the roll off the tongue feeling, or was it like a specific thing you were naming it after?
Well, it was kind of like the grumpy old man, get off my lawn, motherfucker, know?
Yeah.
And old people, when you hang around them long enough, you realize that they complain about their bodies and their bodily functions, and their, it's like, oh, this, my that, and a lot of guys, a lot of old men have problems with their prostates, and hence the, mega beta, whatever prostate commercials that they have like shitloads of them on TV and shit. Right.
Yeah.
So it rhymed. It kind of, had this, had that sing song, irate prostate, blah, blah, blah. And then there was a connection. People had thought I was Irate Bear and a different thing. And I'm like, no, I'm not him. I'm not even British. So yeah. So
because I always wondered, with Phobos, it's, he make sure that his character is drawn on like the moon, so I can see where his character is coming from. And since I just recently changed my name to Living Flame, it's considering the freaking Latin name wasn't doing much for me. People couldn't really figure out who I was, and I was trying to figure out for like a while, actually, like for your name. That's all.
Yeah, and that's the long and the short of it now. But where does yours come from? Now that we're getting
true.
Getting deep.
Okay, getting deep. Let's bring some joints. I'm just kidding. Well, I play a lot. Like, obviously, I play a lot of video games, so I mostly took my name from like a certain like class of a character, and mostly just translated it into Latin. And then I most like whenever I did that, people said, really, really cool name. So I was like, okay, I'll put it as my YouTube, my Twitter, etc., etc. And like after a while, I just started to realize, even though it sounds cool, it's only gonna sound cool to like a certain amount of people. It's not gonna go for the whole majority because no one's really gonna know what the heck it is. And whenever it comes to more or less like the fire itself, it's more or less like I am a very angry gamer. Like anyone that will watch my content from whoever's gonna sub from me from Phobos showing myself out, you'll notice I do get very, very angry, and it's just like me trying to like set ablaze something that nobody has tried to set ablaze before, and it's just
burn that shit down.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just I'm trying to do stuff that I'm not gonna say nobody has ever done, but more or less do it in a style no one else has done before. Just like going after things that people would normally like on a daily basis, but like basically find everything wrong with it and just destroy the living heck out of it. So
that's a good background there.
All right, people. People in the chat. I've just linked a song by Cheap Trick called "The Flame," which is a great old tune, man. It was one of their big hits and shit. Cheap Trick is one of those bands that you have got to hear at least their live album, man. Everybody needs a copy of that. Just because they're one of the greatest live bands that have ever existed, and I've seen them 3 times, man. And I can see them over and over and over again. They're great.
I'll have to check out the song after the show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a great song, man. Yeah.
I wonder where Tonkasaw got his name from, though. Since we should probably go back to the whole Tonkasaw, Jeff Holiday, Kraut thing, etc., etc. We've kind of diverged to
the drama.
I can't even fathom, but that's the thing. Think about Jeff Holiday. That name from it's his name. That's a little bit like when a person.
It's convenient, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's convenient, but it's also kind of arrogant. I don't know, man. Like I feel like the reason that I usually hide behind this character avatar is that I'm not exactly like I don't like. It's not that I don't like being in the spotlight. It's that I don't. I don't like the huge feeling of all the eyes on you and stuff like that. I kind of like to be a little bit more surreptitious in my existence. I like to be more often than not. But when you
just don't like to have your name out there. I mean, hi Phobos. He thinks he's real. Okay. It's a pun. It's like that's so stupid.
It says a lot about who he is,
if you will, a young man, a man who thinks he might exist, a man who thinks he's real. Picture, if you will, another man who thinks he might be real. So are they real? I think he thinks he's real. Hey, I think he's real too.
But you gotta imagine, like, hi, I think I'm real, and Jeff Holiday have. They try to make themselves, like, feel real. Oh, face cam. Whoop-de-frickin' do. That's like, they also put on like this like personality that's just so fake. And it's like you've seen like Jeff Holiday like before he went to VidCon, what he was during VidCon. I think that was actually his like realistic version of himself. Like I think I don't think he's always like a shitlord and an asshole. I think that's more or less just his YouTube persona. That's decent enough. It's like,
well, y'all know that it was he and Memory that let Crazy Hair, that gave Crazy Hair the room number.
Yeah, I feel like that was definitely more Memory, and I could see where that's coming from because she's definitely like more susceptible to. She's sweet.
Very
she's susceptible to manipulation.
Indeed.
It's crazy, but she kind of knew what she was doing, you know?
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
But whatever comes with this drama, I really hope. Like here's the thing. At the same time, I want Jeff to be knocked down like several pegs because he definitely does need it. But it's like at the same time, I feel like if he does get too much flack, his quote unquote community won't want to actually stay with him, pull out his Patreon, and then that would actually be hurting his kid above everything else. And that's like, I don't feel bad for Jeff. I just feel bad for the freaking kid. That's all.
I hear you. You know,
and there's a lot of people taking this time to be like, can you believe that he drinks and has dildos and sex toys around his house in front of his children? And I'm like, okay, the kids seem fine. That seems like a reach.
Well, the
like
sex toys, I think,
overextension. Maybe, perhaps. What's the rubber dick?
I don't know. I think if I was a 3-year-old kid, I wouldn't even notice that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they had naked statues all over the streets in times of old.
Yeah, well, and think about, I think when you're a kid, it's like to quote George Carlin, like everything is a crotch view, to you, and you're like more acquainted with the baseboard of the floor than you are, anything else. You know what I'm saying?
It's like I look at what is it? Kraut and T, and it's like I don't know what he has to lose, so I don't really give a shit about him. But if he does have something to lose, I don't really want him to be completely scrubbed off. I want him to at least be sustained. It's just, I don't know. It's like
you reap what you sow, man. And the deal about it is that, like, I would not want to see Jeff's kids suffer because of stupid decisions that he made any more than I would want to see Kraut's potential family members or whatever suffer, whoever he's supporting.
Yeah, well, all right. From what and I had, like I said, I'd seen about 2/3 and 3/4 of that, 2/3 of that video, right? And like I said, the only thing that I heard different was the deal about the server. He said it was a tale of two servers. I said I took notes during that. And of course, the only time he was really very active on there was the last 3 days, which happened to coincide with the 3 days that the spy was on there, recording all the doxing activity.
The spy.
The spy. We will find him and we will burn him like the Jew he is, probably with the big nose and all that shit.
Yes, we will find him and we will release his information to the places where he lives, and we'll get him fired from his jobs for the server.
I bet he works at the synagogue.
I bet he does. That dirty.
But it's just like I'm just gonna take this one like moment just to say,
really people.
Well, also he blames apathy. Like, I was like, man, it's like I was a member and I really didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's just like, I didn't give a fuck because I didn't give a fuck, and so there was all there. I was a member, and
people who don't give a fuck don't do what he did.
Right. Well, the tapes, like show that he was involved with a lot of stuff, and they ask you, his name comes up a lot, it's just like, what the fuck, man? Are you really going to stick with this shit? In the way that Tonka, said that, the other day when he was on there and he was questioning him about it, the power went out. And when the power had just come back on before they were, they were back broadcasting everything, Jeff, like, told him, he goes, look, man, let's don't give this so much attention, man. I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's really going to be nothing, in a couple of days.
It was just about video responses, man.
Because remember, he said what you remember what the big deal was 4 days ago? And at that point in time, I said, well, fuck, it was Kilroy. And he didn't realize what he was doing, but he was done it back to the Kilroy, man.
And that Kilroy shit in itself was actually pretty hilarious to watch. I mean, like, Base Mama and Sister Danger going at it, trying to damage control and damage control and damage control. And Andy Worski just sitting there telling them to their faces, no, you guys, this is how you fucked up. This is why people are angry. And your whole deal is done unless you pretty much change everything about the way that you've done everything.
Did you notice that Base Mama was like, I really honestly don't recall that happening, or this one. You know what? I had no idea that happened. I can't. And my kid, I got to take my kid to have his blood drawn in 5 minutes.
Or like,
and
that was
45 minutes later, she finally leaves. Right? I was like, oh, man, whatever.
Those were like business conversations. Those were business conversations, and they're confidential.
It's just, okay. Whenever, like, 2 things I want to mention is, like, thank God Andy Worski's starting to actually, like, I'm glad he put his pair back on. Thank God for him. And Tonkasaw, Jesus Christ, he's a god at this point. It's been fun watching Tonkasaw go, and Andy as well. Like, whenever it came to the whole mundane Matt and Miss Repsion thing, like, Repsion was defending the whole Kilroy thing. It's like, were you really expecting this first live stream to go, like, completely, like, flawless, man? It's like, yeah, I think if you're getting $85,000 fucking dollars, this much time to plan it, all these people involved, and you can't pull, and you just start fucking everyone in the ass, and we're not supposed to say anything about it because it's not supposed to be perfect or something like that. I don't understand what the hell Repsion was even saying at that point. And Andy was calling that shit out too. It was fucking glorious to see.
Yeah.
There's not much that can be said, on the backside of that, because, I mean, it was obvious, after a while, because, the Sister Danger was like, giving all this, like, sounded like corporate talk almost to me, like that, the way HR blows smoke up your ass and kind of give you the non-answer answer. And then this whole thing, like, well, what can we do to make this good for you? What can we do to make this right?
Oh, that was
you know what I'm saying? Because that's the whole trick behind that is that, okay, we'll give you a bunch of lip service, and then as soon as you sign that contract with that NDA and shit, it's like, oh, something's going to come up, and we're not going to be able to fulfill, that verbal agreement that we made.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't written down now. Okay. And Andy was, he was smart as fuck, because he did not fucking, he wouldn't touch it with the 10-foot pole. And I love the way he was fucking with them. I could tell.
We would love to have you back, like, we would love, and he's just like, no, can't be part of this because of, you guys fucked up, and here's how you fucked up. So I'm going to do my bar crawl, satisfy my fans, because I really do love them and want to see them. Which that's an honorable last thing to do, to fly to Arizona fans in a way that you technically don't have to do.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is, like, he gave free advertising to, 250,000 people.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a, and think about how much, because they put, I mean, I was blown away by how fast they put that 85G together, man. I mean, it was like, holy shit.
People,
boom, 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 man. It was like, well, we're there, buddy.
Yeah, you get enough people in and they're going to fucking pay for it. But it's like, I was watching, like, that entire night. I was actually looking at, like, people taking screenshots of, like, the super chats that they were sending in the live stream. It's like, people want refunds on this shit, and they weren't even there. They're not going to read their super chats. They're not going to address anything. They're just doing absolutely, they're not going to care. It's like, there's gotta be some legal acts to be taken or something. I'm not going to obviously do anything myself, but it's like, someone's got to do something about that, because that's kind of bullshit, especially when people want refunds and they're not going to get it. Like, what? Why? If it's not the event, like, I can understand, like, after the event you're not getting a refund because it's already been done, but it's like, there's still time before this event. At least I think there is. And it's like, they didn't get, what was it, like the ball pit or something like that. It's like, I don't know. I'm still kind of hazy on the whole details. I'm mostly just pissed about the 85K. It's like,
yeah, it was really funny. AP said that he said, yeah, Base Mama's going to ride up to the thing in a brand new BMW. You know,
yeah, she's gonna have a nice flashy dress,
dude,
rings,
man,
hair done. Oh.
When that dude gets salty, man, you know he lets the shit fly, man. I love AP, man. He is really a really fun guy, and he is funny as shit. He's the only person I've ever seen be able to, besides Sir Adamantine. I'll put it this way: he's the only guy that I've known that has been able to talk Uzi Q into saying anything live on the thing. Even Sir Adamantine hadn't been able to do that yet.
Wow.
So, yeah, exactly. And he's a persuasive dude.
Yeah, he is. Sorry.
Irate, I don't want to interrupt anything, but I just I gotta go in 10 minutes because I gotta pull that pork.
Well, you know what I was thinking? Yeah, I was thinking of wrapping it up at the bottom of the hour anyway, because I think that would be a good place to go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think we've pretty much covered everything that there is to cover, and I do recommend everybody check out the Quartering, check out his deal on Coach Red Pill, and check out Jeff Holliday's admission, not admission, non-confession, or whatever the fuck it is. I'm trying to count how many cigarettes he smokes and how many times he burps, and how many times he blames alcohol.
It looked exactly like his freaking depression video, and that depression video actually gave me depression. I'm sorry if anyone takes offense to that. It's just a joke. It's just. His videos are so bad.
Well, it inspired me to make a video, because I had actually worked in the psych business for a while, and I had made something, and then it inspired me to do that thing I did with Chris Worski last month. But yeah, I don't know. It was a little sad. It was pretty sad, but. I don't know. Somebody had alluded to, the idea that maybe, there's a con man in him. And from what I've gathered, didn't he live like a nomadic street life for a while there?
Yeah, him and Memory did. They were like gypsies, pretty much.
Yeah. So that
still kind of are. Sorry.
Well, if you look at the internet as being kind of a place to be vagabonds on the internet, I can cop to that,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was just thinking that you learn when you're living on the street, or you're living. A lot of people are doing the hobo kind of thing, and that's a dangerous way to live, and people. I don't know. They go to any length to survive, just about, and that can be it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. But you also learn how to bullshit, especially when you're panhandling.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe at this point. It's all up in the air. I see Poppy, the Lucky Pop Tarts in the crowd. And everybody, if you can, sub to her and follow her on Twitter. She needs an operation, and she's trying to she's got this thing with her eye. Her retina started detaching when she was really young, and she's legally blind, but if she doesn't have this operation soon, then she'll be completely totally blind. And
man,
and we don't want this to happen to her because she's an awesome sweetheart.
Truth.
She's a good person. And anybody that knows her for 5 minutes knows she's for real.
Well, screw my shill. Let's get the Lucky Pop-Tart. Everything that she needs, man.
Well, we can still, we still get get the flame, get him subbed, and get the Pop-Tart, the help she needs, the love that she needs. All right, because that's if we're gonna do anything else for this time of year, we gotta let's do something good, man.
Yeah, Lucky Pop-Tart, from the bottom of my heart, I hope everything works out. I really do.
Yeah, we're sending some love that way, and the girl is gonna be all right.
My flaming, bitter, ramen-filled heart.
Yeah. How many packets of ramen are you up to a day now?
Well, actually, I've recently discovered, I have still canned foods, ham, and like certain other methods to eat. So I'm trying to step away from that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you going the freegan route?
No.
Yeah, that's right. She does have a GoFundMe, I think. And I can put that in afterwards. Poppy, if you'll DM that to me and remind me, I'll be sure to put it on there, okay? But sorry, yeah. So yeah, you do the so you're eating Spam, is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I think
it's like you traded high blood pressure for cholesterol.
Well, surprisingly, this is, I can't remember the exact count, but according to my dad, the last time that I checked my blood was like 2 years ago. It's probably way higher than now, but I think I was actually less healthy back then. I think.
Yo, he's gotta get some blood checked.
Well, I had my blood checked once, and the cholesterol levels were extremely low, which I am not going to have high blood pressure.
Yeah, your LDL, your HDL, actually your body makes that. If you don't have enough, it'll create its own level anyway. But so there's a lot of that whole deal about the cholesterol and stuff. They were rethinking that. And at least that's what my heart surgeon said. He said,
but I never
the blood pressure is the thing. That's the thing you need to work. Everybody needs to look at.
I wouldn't doubt it. That's why, like, I try as clean as I can. That being said, like, I have to go in 5 minutes to go pull apart fucking pulled pork barbecue. But I try
pull apart pulled pork. Ooh.
I try. I pull apart pulled pork. I usually try to eat fish and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've got notoriously just like relatively low blood pressure. Imagine I have too much buildup in my arteries and stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of things that people are marketing to be good for you that do bad stuff to you.
Well, that whole BMI thing, man, that's from the 1800s. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think that that I don't know. I'm not going to say anything.
I mean, most of the reason why
my mouth shut.
Yeah, most of the reason why I eat clean is not. I feel like my cholesterol is in serious danger or anything. It's just because I want to be able to see all of my abs.
I feel you. Well, so you're pulling some pork. What did you do? Did you roast a butt?
I actually just had chops, and I couldn't really think of too much that I wanted to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I really, really wanted to make. I recently made barbecue sauce, and so I was like, let's do that.
Yeah, tear that shit up, man.
I have to go about now.
Yeah.
If you want me to wait until you wrap up.
Well, I mean, shit. If this is as good a place as any, I mean, it's like we could just dick around and talk for another 5 minutes, or we can just go ahead and wrap it up and say, show yourself, show your shit. You got anything coming up in the next couple of days, people?
I don't really know. I was thinking about that myself. Something's got to compel me. But I was also I've I've had a hankering to make another like spooky conspiracy video, so maybe I'll try to do something like that.
Sweet.
Make like a Christmas video. Come on, bro.
Be my Christmas video.
Yeah.
That's right.
God, this is irritating. So I'm gonna try to make a short story of basically what happened last night. Like, whenever I was trying to record audio for my next video, the audio recorder kept crashing like in the middle of my recording. So I restart my computer, open it back up. Audio recorder's fine. Open my script WordPad where I have everything on there, like from the last, like very first video on YouTube I've ever made. All my scripts are gone, like right there. And it's like,
Oh,
I was crying, but I was hoping to at least finish the video by at least the 23rd, so I could also make a follow-up like Christmas video that I would launch on the 25th, which I'm not going to release what that is because it's kind of the first like child-friendly video I'm trying to do.
well, good.
Yeah, it's not going to be a white van with an ice cream, sign on it. I promise. After that, I'm going to try to get into less. Yeah, thanks for humoring me, Phobos. I'm going to try to get into like different projects because still there's like a saturated market for the gaming community. So I'm going to try to see if I can do like show and movie reviews, etc., etc. But do you have anything upcoming IRATE in the way of videos?
Well, tomorrow night it'll be the 17th cream stream. Not sure what it's gonna be or who's gonna be there. I've got I think I only got like one confirmation of the whole group, so I guess I'm gonna have to whip some shit up tomorrow. But yeah, we'll get something going and for that. And I don't know, man. People have been asking me for some more shit-faced Alex Jones, so I think he's been requested, so I have to appease the natives, man, and give them what they want.
Yeah.
Little shit-faced man. That's right. You're gonna rock and roll with everybody. All right, people. So on that, we're going to, on 3, 2, 1, we're going to say bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.